We are live.
Okay, calling to order, Committee of the Whole, May 5th, 2026. Resolutions. Resolution 2526-186. Resolution adopting the minutes from the last common council meeting. Alderwoman Collins. Any questions, changes? Okay, thank you. Resolution 2526-187, resolution authorizing interfund loan for multiple projects. Alderman Marticello.
Okay, what we're doing here is we're gonna borrow money, and there's an interfund loan of up to 50,000 is gonna be requested. And then when we get reimbursed from the state, then we're gonna put it back in here. But in the meantime, just to move this along, we're gonna borrow the money. Okay? And then when we'll put it back where we borrowed it, once we get reimbursed from the state. Okay?
Any other questions? Okay, resolution 2526-188, resolution setting a public hearing for the adoption of the City of Amsterdam Comprehensive Plan. Alderwoman Collins. We will have, the City of Amsterdam has undertaken the effort to update its 2023 comprehensive plan to identify key goals and strategies for social,
Pretty good, I think.
sustainable growth and economic
We're gonna get some
development.
rain tonight, huh?
You want to say, speak on this?
Good morning. Good morning.
If you would.
Sure. I mean, so we're getting to the end of our comprehensive plan process. Our feedback has generally been positive. There's a few minor grammatical errors that we need to address. And we're gonna swap out some of the pictures that are old and outdated. But other than that, the response we've gotten has been positive, so there's not any material changes we intend to make from the draft plan, unless there's certainly anything here that anybody has questions about.
Any questions?
Nope.
No? Okay. The public hearing is scheduled for May 19, 2026 at 5 p.m. in the Capitol Chamber.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm choking. Sorry.
Resolution 2526-189, Alderwoman Collins again. The audit is fine. Any questions? Ordinance D of 2026 to be known as ordinance number 4 of 2026 if adopted. An ordinance modifying section 73-4A9 of the Amsterdam City Code so as to prohibit dogs in certain areas of public parks and recreational areas. Alderman Holliday.
Yeah, so I guess in a nutshell, whether leashed or unleashed, baseball, soccer, softball fields, basketball, tennis, pickleball courts, golf, putting greens, splash pads, etc. So all these recreation areas, there will be no longer, dogs will no longer be allowed to go on them. And I also see here, even if it's on a leash, the leash shall not exceed 8 feet in length. So that's what I understand in a nutshell. Chief, is there anything that we can add to that? That you'd like
That
to?
covers it. The leash part is that's just reiterating another portion of that's already in the leash law that we have.
Okay,
But this is highly specific based on feedback we got from the recreation committee and the leagues that operate within the parks and the recreational areas. This was a big problem, so this was in response to that.
yes.
Damage and things like that. And if they called you, there wasn't anything.
Yeah, because mainly people that they don't clean up after their dog, and it's, not, so this way it totally prohibits the dog being on the field at any time, no matter what. And and also with the splash pads, we want to limit where kids and dogs are gonna meet face to face. And being that we have more splash pads, they're very popular, we wanna stop that before we have an issue. And it's also in line with many other municipalities who have similar codes.
Cool. Thank you.
Our city and a lot of volunteer groups spend a lot of time on those fields. They work very, very hard to keep them in great shape, and to have people let their dogs do what they do on those fields is really, it's a disgrace. It's something that shouldn't happen. So this is the time has come for something like this.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions? Okay.
There will be a public hearing at 5:40 on May 19, 26. for ordinance date. Okay, local law A of 2025 to be known as local law 1 of 2026 if adopted. This is an introduction, a local law extending a temporary moratorium, oh my God, I can't even say that.
Moratorium.
Of the submission and processing of building permits, certificates of occupancy, certificates of use and land use approvals for industrial, solar and battery energy storage systems in the city of Amsterdam. It was sponsored by Alderman Carpenter. He's not able to make it today, so Alderman Holliday.
Yeah, so it's just a continuation of the moratorium that we already have in place with the ground-mounted solar panels. Anyone, Tony or Mayor, have anything to add?
It contemplates extending the moratorium through January.
Thank you.
And we need a public hearing.
Public
And,
hearing.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, public hearing has been scheduled for 5:45 on May 19th.
I thought when we passed this the first time though, it was supposed to not take 6 months.
The first moratorium we did for 6 months. This, I think, you extended it for 7 technically to January.
Isn't the first moratorium already expired?
No, moratorium set to expire on June 2nd.
It's going to expire.
It's going to expire on June 2nd. I think it's June 2nd.
So you want to
First week in
extend it
June.
now to January?
But I thought we
20th?
were gonna have like the legislation to update it.
We don't have it ready to go though. There's not been any committee meeting about it or anything that's been scheduled to the best of my knowledge. And that's why I would recommend that we extend the moratorium. I'm not even aware of a committee that's formed about it.
We could always get it done before the moratorium expires, correct? Right.
You sure could.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
thought we had that, I thought Grant had the language, chief. that
He
wanted-
did make some changes and submit them. I don't know if Tony's had time to review them.
Oh, I've reviewed
Yeah,
it.
you had those, right, though?
I have them.
But as long as far as Grant making changes, yes, he did, and he submitted them to Tony. I don't believe any council members have. I don't know if you guys looked through them. Did you send them to you guys?
Okay.
I discussed it with Anthony already,
I mean,
right? You and I discussed this, right, Tony?
I don't think it would be prudent for me to share one man's opinion, that being my opinion, about what should happen, because I don't speak for the city. That's why I do think that ultimately the best way to proceed would for there to be a committee, and that committee to make recommendations to the common council, and then for the common council to ultimately act on those recommendations. That's my best thought as to how I think we should proceed with respect to this issue, but that's only my opinion.
And I've been observing this issue, how it's been handled in other communities, and I see controversy, I see some questions about it and some uncertainties. And it's like, I don't like to be the first one to jump into the ocean without knowing if there's sharks in there. So I'm kind of just waiting to see how things shake out a little bit more. But there's nothing to stop us from continuing to study the issue and continuing to observe what's going on with the technology. And that's kind of how I'm playing it.
That's the end of our agenda, Mayor.
That's it.
That's the end of the council.
We can go into Mike Clark's engineering report if you'd like.
That's fine. What would you want to go in?
Evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Our set to begin the initial streets in the paving program. I don't know which streets that are gonna be yet. We're gonna pick several, a dozen or more today, and begin to mark out. So I expect the contractor to mobilize probably within 2 weeks, perhaps less. But within a 2-week window. Now, one of those streets, I believe, is Crescent Ave, or a piece of it, within the park. Which brings me to another item, the Crescent Ave Bridge. The target date for open to traffic has been basically pushed out a month. In our favor. So it's expected to open to traffic on June 18th.
Great.
Which I think the Mohawks start, or Rob mentioned them starting very early in June.
Yeah,
So
in
it
May,
might
beginning of June.
complicate one game, but they will be open after that. And that's a good thing. If you haven't been down through there yet, it looks a little different than it used to. Also, we mentioned before, the demolition project is complete. I believe they've been paid out 95%. There's a little bit of retainage, a little bit of restoration remaining, I think. There was as of last week. Filter work is still ongoing at the water treatment plant. The sanitary sewer improvement at the top of Broadway, that's gonna begin, I expect, again, within 2 weeks or less. Also, and I know I had many comments over the last month or so about the Block at Guy Park division there, where National Grid did a lot of that gas work to reroute it around. They were repaving, and I don't know if they were done, but they were through one lane. I think they've got more to do tomorrow. But I expect that to be 100% restored by tomorrow afternoon. I just wanted to mention too that we've, our new chief operator at wastewater made modifications to our aeration process, not mechanical, just what's moving it from what's known as contact stabilization to step feed. And it improved our removals significantly. We were always in compliance, but it dropped them by more than 50%, which is even better. And that bodes well for the future with the project, in the anticipation that we're going to be able to handle much higher flows than we can now without bypassing, which has always been problematic for the plant. Bottom line is, when that project's done, I expect, among other things, that we'll be able to handle probably another 7 million gallons a day during a peak weather event. In other words, really wet. In other news, if anybody sees that we have, our office is trying to get quotes from tree contractors. We've had, it being spring, we've had a number of complaints or requests for us to look at trees. We got to deal with them. Many of them, if DPW can deal with them, they certainly will. Some of them require a bucket truck or a crane. When we can, we get the county involved. But it does make sense for us to have a contractor at least online where we can call them as needed. So, and that is out there also.
And those are trees that are on our property, or how does
City
that work?
trees,
City
yeah.
trees,
So
yeah.
trees that we're responsible for. Like, every year we have calls about trees around the outer fence at the water treatment plant.
Mhm.
All the way around, because they hug that fence. Some of them are on our side, some of them are on the homeowner's side. They hang either way, but we have like the golf course, another thing, right? There's some trees that butt right up
Veterans
private
always
property,
have issues, yeah, like veterans, yeah, something like that,
that
okay,
kind of thing.
yeah.
And I'll take any questions, of course.
Any questions for the engineer?
I have a question. Mike, you opened the bid yesterday for the lots to be cleared?
Vegetation.
I think Alyssa did last Friday, there was a bid opening for that.
Yes, there was. We had 3 bids. Mike, you didn't?
Three, I think there were
4, I'm sorry. Thank you.
I-
Yeah, you haven't reviewed those yet. Have you seen them?
I've seen them, I've seen the numbers. The only thing I haven't done is called it, there's a couple of folks on there that we know, and there's a couple of folks, including the low bidder, that I'm not personally familiar with.
So we
It's
need to
a
do a little bit of
significantly lower
investigation.
price.
All right, okay, very good.
So the short answer is, I still want to call a reference.
Okay, that's fine.
For the street paving list, do you have an idea when that'll be finalized? It just,
I hope it's finalized right now.
okay,
Because we're, like I said, I expect Del Signo or Blacktop to mobilize inside of 2 weeks. We met with them for the better part of today and walked probably a third to half of the streets to do markouts and get locations and limits of work and, all the stuff you do up front to get ready to go on their end.
do you have a copy of that for us? I was thinking about with the Safe Streets group, we were talking about road striping and how that could be included in the paving. And I thought we could review, our next thing could be to review like what streets we're actually paving and if they would be candidates for that or ones that we want to consider. We
I'll
could
make
use
more
this one,
comments.
okay.
That is the list. The second sheet is just, I didn't fit it to the sheet, so
Yeah.
it spilled over.
That's okay. That doesn't mean anything to us. The second sheet.
Those are our
Yeah.
numbers, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the engineer? I guess we might as well just talk about a few things that I wanted to talk about tonight. May 19th is a big day for Amsterdam. The future of Amsterdam is the vote on the referendum to sell the land at the Curie East Side School. It's 44-acre parcel. And we have a developer who intends, if the land sale is approved, is going to spend $65 million putting single-family homes, condominiums, townhomes, and apartments at every level on that acreage. It would be the biggest private development in our city in 50 years. It's a fantastic, it has a lot of fantastic benefits for our city. There's also at the same time a budget referendum, and they're going to be voting on, I believe, 8 candidates, maybe 10 for the Board of Education now. So it should be a very active race. So we've developed some materials for the council, which we are going to be sending you digitally, which you will share the highlights of what that project is. But basically, everything as far as quality of life, we do not have enough housing in this city for any demographic, and especially for the demographics this will be serving. That will take care of, that will certainly go a long way in helping us with that. But revenues, this is over $1 million worth of annual tax revenues for our city, school, and county. I don't have to tell you how huge that would be. And the fact that we have a developer, any project is based, the success of any project is based upon the quality of the buildings that are going to go in there. And we have a top shelf developer who's done this all over the area and is now interested in doing it in Amsterdam. So I urge the council to help get the word out on this. We've got people working on it as well, but it's a very important vote, May 19th, and we do encourage everyone to vote yes on that referendum. Today I was at a press conference from Congressman Paul Tonko in Rensselaer, where he announced that he had put together a package of 20 community projects that he was going to try and get into the federal budget for 2027. One of those projects is a $1 million grant that would help us build the DPW garage. The timing on that grant is that there's a process going on right now where it will have to be approved by the House of Representatives and put into their budget. That's a process that goes through committees, and Congressman Tonko will be advocating for that project through the committees. If it ends up in the House of Representatives budget, it then has to get to the Senate's budget. And then the House and Senate have to agree on a unified budget, and then the president's gonna have to sign that budget. And it will only be if the president signs that budget that these projects are approved, and we will have a project for DPW. I should also mention that Congressman Tonko has a grant in there for St. Mary's Hospital, for an expansion for St. Mary's Hospital. He has a grant in there for the Town of Amsterdam sewer extension. He has a grant in there for the Guy Park Manor project. So we've gotten four out of the 20 grants are from our neck of the woods, our area, which is a commendation for our native son, Paul Tonko, who always thinks of us, and we're in there. So I got my fingers crossed, but what it will do is it's gonna push our timing back on the DPW garage. Basically, we cannot use this money until we get the agreement with the USDA, which would be the agency that would oversee this grant. If all that budget stuff works out, we're not gonna see a budget until probably January of 2027, maybe December of 2027 if it's good. And then it'll take months for USDA to get the paperwork put together, give us agreements that we would have to sign before we can spend the first penny on that project. So it's pushing that back. I just wanted everyone to know, I think it's worth waiting for it this time. We will know, unfortunately, much sooner if we aren't going to be included, because we'll be kicked out of at some way along the line. We'll get a bad phone call that says, I'm sorry, you're not in it anymore. And we'll think about it at that point in time. But right now, I just wanted you to know the good news and also how that impacts the timing on the DPW garage. What else we got? 5 more minutes before we start the regular meeting. 8 more minutes, I'm sorry. 8 more minutes. Louise, you want to do the controllers report?
I don't have one prepared tonight. We have
Okay,
we're having an audit
I was
presentation.
gonna let you, them speak, but I want to get them into the regular council session, so
Okay.
it'll be part of the minutes of the 7th.
Did you give us your budget?
I did, I submitted the mayor's budget to the council, they have that, and I included the budget message that kind of described what the priorities were in that budget. Thank, of course, the people who worked very hard with me, the department heads, the controller's office, of course, Louise, to put this budget together. I think it's a good document. I think it provides for our city's needs during not just the next 12 months, but also sets us up in good position for the year beyond that. I do have 3 capital projects that we will, with the exception of the one I just spoke about, that we hope to commence in this coming year. And one of them, of course, is the infrastructure for this project, for the Curie project. So there's a lot to digest. I know the council will do a good job in reviewing it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'd be happy to answer them and work with you in any way that I can. I'm looking for suggestions for improvements. If you find any mistakes, they're Louise's fault. I'm just kidding.
And I am working on the hard copies right now. I know you've all seen the budget electronically.
Okay. Then you
I
can
am
get those.
compiling those, working on it right before this meeting. I'm hoping to have them finished tomorrow.
Okay.
I,
They all have digital copies?
Stacy, did you print?
They got
them?
digital copies,
Oh,
but I'm doing the
oh,
hard.
Stacy printed us
Oh, okay.
a version.
All right.
Thanks, Stacy.
can I ask,
Yes, sir.
without putting you on the spot, when's the public hearing?
The
Right.
12th.
The 12th of May is the public hearing, right?
At 6 o'clock, yes.
Okay, and then, and after that, we're gonna schedule budget meeting, right?
Yeah, just said I'll pass this out. This will be for our meeting, so when we get to it, you can start checking when days are available.
Very good, very good. Thank you.
That's helpful, thank you. I'll have one for Chris. I'll give you one. Pull it up.
What time on the 12th, Stacy?
6 o'clock.
Very good. You,
So you can start looking at your days.
you're gonna need a copy. She has to be here.
This is smart.
Oh, yeah.
You have a copy?
Is she gonna be here?
You have to
This is
do-
the calendar. Once we have the public hearing, then we'll set this up and then.
One other thing, when we say the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, I'm gonna ask everyone to remain standing, after the pledge is over. We lost a valued member of City Hall staff this week, suddenly and tragically. Marie Bickmeyer has been one of our first official greeters at City Hall. Her smile, her cheerfulness, her willingness to help anyone who needed help that walked into this building. And believe me, there are some people who walk into this building that are tough to help, but Louise never let it bother her. She was a tremendous face for our city government. She was very, very good to me. She spread happiness throughout the place, and I'm gonna miss her. And I know everyone who appreciates what she did is gonna miss her terribly. So at the end of the Pledge of Allegiance, when we open the official meeting, I am gonna ask everyone to remain standing for a moment of silence for Louise's memory. Louise, we thank you for a job well done.
Marie.
Louise, I'm sorry, Marie.
I'm still with us.
You're still with us. That's embarrassing, but you know what I meant. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's stand for a pledge. We'll stand for a moment of silence after. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to say anything?
Spring fling is this weekend.
Yeah, no, I meant about Marie, but that's,
Oh, about
that's
Marie.
okay.
We'll miss her. I will definitely miss her.
Okay, so, can we have a roll call?
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Here.
Alderman Holliday.
Here.
Alderwoman Collins. Here. Alderman Carpenter. Alderman Marticello.
Here,
Motion to adopt the agenda?
Okay, motion to adopt the agenda. We have 4 resolutions and 1 ordinance introduction and 1 local law introduction. Follow.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
aye,
The proclamation that I wanted to bring today was not prepared yet, so we're going to skip over the proclamation and go right to communications and presentations. And before we have our new accounting firm talk to us about our annual audit, I want to do 2 Amsterdam tributes. These are 2 recognition of people who go above and beyond the call of duty on behalf of our city and help improve the quality of life. I'm going to start with the first one. Within Bob Purtell's distinguished and extensive resume of volunteerism and public service is his longstanding commitment as sponsor of the City of Amsterdam Cleanup Day. This annual event has made a lasting impact on our community. Through his tireless efforts and unwavering dedication, the Cleanup Day has grown each year, bringing more volunteers together, expanding the areas clean, and removing increasing amounts of debris from our neighborhoods. His leadership has helped turn a simple effort into a powerful community tradition, inspiring civic pride and collective responsibility while making our city a cleaner, better place for all. Amsterdam therefore salutes Robert Purtell for his outstanding record of public service and for his untiring efforts to improve the quality of life in our city. Thank you, Robert. The second one, Dove Creek Disc Golf Course at Sassafras Hollow marked a proud milestone on April 18th of 2026 as it hosted its first PDGA sanctioned tournament, an achievement rooted in vision, dedication, and community spirit. This course stands as a testament to Terry Hudson, whose leadership and perseverance brought it to life through volunteer labor, generous donations, and the support of Montgomery County. Special recognition is also due to Chris Wilson, Sean Collins, and Will Cable, whose countless hours of hard work helped build and continue to maintain this exceptional community asset. The City of Amsterdam salutes Terry Hudson for bringing the sport of disc golf to our city and for his ongoing efforts to promote both the sport and our city as a goodwill ambassador. Thank you, Terry. If anyone hasn't had the opportunity to just go up and look at the course, it's really incredible. It's really a very nice asset for our city. And I'm amazed at the number of people who play disc golf. It's really a great thing. So, all right, without further ado, we're going to go to our accounting firm presentation for a review of our 24-25 audit, Bonadio and Company, LLP. Who do we have with us tonight? You can do whatever you'd like, but that's typically where you do it.
All right. So I see some of you had the big documents in front of you, but Louise is going to pass out a short presentation. You'll thank me later.
Yeah, I tried to get through it.
It's not a lot of fun, I'll tell you. So I'm Greg Evans from the Bonadio Group. I'm the partner in charge of the audit engagement. Like I mentioned, we have a short presentation here. We'll flip right over to part A. So this is our scope of services performed. So what we did was an audit of your financial statements for the year ended June 30, 2025, which, as we know, you guys are coming up on the end of your next year. So one of the hopes is that this audit gets moved up, be more timely. Certainly feedback that we provide, those numbers are, the sooner you get them, the easier it is to, obviously make changes. The other thing we did was the single audit, which is an audit of your federal awards. And we also did an audit of your New York State DOT awards. We did have a couple management letter comments or best practices. There wasn't much there though, honestly, and we verbally communicated those to Louise and the staff. It was really just documenting journal entry review. We'd like to see someone sign off as the preparer and someone sign off as the reviewer. It's just part of that internal control process. So, all right, so moving on to the executive summary. In terms of the financial statements, those financial statements are yours. The numbers are yours. Our job is to give an opinion on those numbers. We actually give multiple opinions. And we'll talk a little bit about the different types of financial statements that are in there. But we did give a disclaimer of opinion on the governmental activities, which is the citywide, all of the assets, all the liabilities together. This is consistent with your prior accounting firm. We'll talk a little about that when we get to the findings, though. Not a huge deal, though. Everything else we had an unmodified opinion on or a clean opinion on, meaning we believed everything was fairly stated, so that's a good thing. In terms of internal controls, we did have two findings that we'll talk about. One of them related to those fixed assets that I just mentioned. In terms of accounting policies, you did implement GASB 101 this year, which was related to compensated absences. Really not a big deal there. It's just tracking of leave time that accrues from year to year. Not a lot of change there. We did have some audit adjustments, which resulted in one of the findings that we'll talk about. And there were no unadjusted misstatements that we passed on. Really no significant difficulties in performing the audit, just timing wise of us getting appointed, us figuring out exactly, how the systems work here. And again, we're going to work on that timing. In terms of single audit, that report, again, your federal awards, we had an unmodified opinion on compliance there. So no issues in terms of how you spent the money, the federal awards, and also no internal control findings there. In terms of the New York State DOT, no, that was an unmodified opinion as well, and no findings related to that, so. We're in good shape there. Like I mentioned, no findings related to internal controls over compliance, so we do test for compliance, and we do look at the internal controls that relate to the spending of those awards. All right, Part C, the key financial highlights. So in terms of your financial statements, your government-wide financial statements, again, this is all the assets, all the liabilities, both short-term and long-term of the city kind of lumped together. The budget that you're reviewing is not reflective of those assets and liabilities, again, because you pass an annual budget meant to be for the next year. I hate to kind of bash my profession, but this financial statement is really not that helpful in managing the city. The helpful part of it is in the financials, is in the footnotes to the financial statements, though, where you will see details about long-term debt, other post-employment liabilities, your retiree health. So you'll see a lot of information about how those numbers are calculated. Sometimes it's good to compare those to other cities, but in terms of on an annual basis, you're not really going to use this financial statement for that much. Retiree liabilities, we do have a history of that on pages 54 and 55 in the back of your financial statement. So when we think about those pension liabilities, you want to look at those contributions. And again, when looking at the budget, look at those trends, look at the economy and how things go. Bottom line on that financial statement, though, it shows a huge deficit. It shows $57 million. So you kind of like, oh my God, are we broke? No, you're not broke. A lot of that is that retiree health number, which is about $53 million, which New York State does not allow you to fund, which is a little bit different than your retiree, your pension liabilities, which are funded. So that's sort of the short story about that financial statement and why you have such a huge deficit. Okay, so on to the fund financial statements. And again, these numbers are pretty stale, so I'm going to go over them at a pretty high level, and we're going to talk about some of those ending balances and what those mean to you. In terms of how the Gen Fund did for the year, you had a budgeted use of fund balance of about $39,000. So you were going to dip into that savings account to balance the budget of about $39,000. What actually happened was you increased fund balance by $930,000. So almost $1 million swing there between what you budgeted and what you actually ended up with, mostly related to additional state aid. So you did receive a little bit more than you had budgeted for, so that's the basic difference there. In terms of the other funds, the garbage fund, the water fund, the recreation fund, all had positive variances to budget. Sewer came in a little bit below budget in terms of using more fund balance than you had anticipated. So all in all, your fund balance as a whole went up, which is a good thing. Definitely as a result of both some additional revenues and controlling those expenditures, which we'll talk about in a second. Capital Projects Fund, I always like to point this out too. You do have a deficit there, but you also have a band there, a bond anticipation note payable. When that's converted from short-term to long-term, that will fund that fund. And then you will have revenues in there which will wipe out that deficit. So again, just sort of governmental accounting and the way that works. It's a timing difference, let's call it. Okay, so the next couple pages, I put some charts to get together just to give you some, kind of historical information about where you've been and where you might be going. In terms of general fund, I like to focus on unassigned and assigned fund balance because that's really what's under your control. Unassigned is the savings account. Assigned is the amount that you set aside for next year's budget. So you can see, going back to the start of the pandemic, you were pretty low on fund balance, so really no savings. Trending up through 22, 23, 24, and now into 25, you end up with about $10.6 million of fund balance or savings, which is kind of expected. There was a lot of, additional funding out there. $2 million of ARPA funding came this way. Most of our local governments would see a similar trend to this. Not all of them, most of them.
Sorry for the chuckle there. It has nothing to do with Amsterdam.
But part of the reason for that is the ones that ended up with fund balance were spending their extra dollars on projects and not recurring expenses. So that's sort of the key. We've seen this with a lot of school districts that are now cutting people. They took those additional ARPA dollars and they were using it to kind of fill a budget gap. And it's now going the other way. Those dollars aren't there anymore, but the expenses are still there. So in your particular case, you're still in good shape. When we look at that number, the unassigned fund balance, the state comptroller usually recommends that number be 15 to 20% of your annual expenditures. Right now, you're up around 60%. So very, very healthy fund balance. I'm certainly not recommending you go and spend it all in the next year, not wise. But the general idea is to have a plan to spend that down, to get down to that. I would say 20% is a good number. At that point, I think no one's saying you're going to be carrying too much fund balance or overtaxing or have too much savings, but you do need, some funds on hand for emergencies for sure. And again, as we move on here on the next chart, so the bottom of my chart got cut off. I apologize for that. But again, this is going from 21 to 25, just sort of a history of the general fund revenues and expenditures and how you got to that fund balance number. This past year, those expenditures are a little bit inflated because you moved some salaries from the other funds into the gen fund, so that kind of pushed that up. Below the line, you did have transfers in, so that's why the gen fund didn't really go down. But that's just the gen fund revenues and expenditures. So next chart, really this is sort of the key one that I think you have to pay attention to in terms of the federal aid and state aid. It sort of follows that same trend line of your fund balance. Going back to 2021, that was a total of about 7 million. It peaks at about 10 million in 2023, and it's coming back down. So, well, I just heard you may have some federal funding, in the hopper, which is great. But I think in general, you have to be a little bit cautious with those federal funds. We already know the ARPA funding's gone away, right? You've spent it all. So that's $2 million that's, not going to be part of the budget going forward. Other things to think about, sales tax across the state has still been healthy, but certainly the growth level has flattened. So relying too much on sales tax is a little bit of a dangerous thing. You did pick up a little bit and, you now have the cannabis tax. That was about 200,000, an additional revenue source, which is great. But again, when we think about revenues going away, you have to control those expense levels. Very hard to replace those grants and state aid with property taxes. So really the thing to do there is to try to control that expense level. Any questions about numbers? I threw a little bit at you pretty quickly. I can go deeper into that big document if you want me to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. Okay.
Can you go to page 14?
Yep.
On the revenue and expenses.
Yes.
We're balanced out here.
you're balanced out here, but, again, let's call it below the line. You have general revenues, general expenses, and then you have transfers in. So you did have transfers in from other funds of around, I think, $1 million or so that sort of pushed it over. So if you balance those out, you were really ahead by 930,000. So
Yeah, somewhere around there.
yeah, about 930,000. So again, transfers in are really inter-fund things that happen between, let's say, the other funds essentially,
So
water, sewer.
going forward on this number right here.
Yeah.
What is your trend expectations? Going down, you say?
I'd say the revenues will. I mean, or at least flatten, let's call it that way. So when we think about flattening revenues, we all know that the expenditures are not gonna flatten, right? I mean, maybe they will, but certainly we've seen costs, especially employee benefits and things along those lines, they almost always trend upwards, so.
The reason I'm asking this is what do we do now going forward? Now, you're talking about federal grants, state grants that we had, and you don't foresee them coming, except you mentioned two things, sales tax, cannabis tax. Am I right?
Yes.
I wanna follow you, that's why.
Yeah, absolutely. So the sales tax, has been strong, right? It's been strong across the state for several years
It's gonna
now.
be stronger now with the economy,
Well,
sales tax now.
yeah, I mean, we've certainly seen that the growth rate has flattened, for
Right.
sure. So again, if we're talking flattening and maybe starting to dip, and when all those things together, that's where you have to control those expense levels, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
And that's one of the things, the Church Street, the Curie project, it's $400 million worth of annual revenue, property taxes and user fees that is vital to us being able to keep these numbers going in the right direction.
Because that's another source of revenue you're talking about that we're not gonna have, that we need to depend on.
Correct.
Right.
Thank you.
Any other numbers questions? Okay, we'll just talk about the findings real quick, slide 17. So we did have a finding relative to grant tracking and reconciliations at year end. I mentioned that we do that audit of the federal awards. So what you have is called the CFO, which is the Scheduled Expenditure of Federal Awards. We did make some adjustments to that based on some reconciliations that were done after year end. I will say, this is something that absolutely is critical to the audit process because we need good final CFO numbers to be able to plan that single audit. We're sort of regimented, regulated by the federal government. You have to audit the type A programs. So when we're moving those numbers around, it certainly slows the audit down. Now, one of the things I will say, I audit 3 cities. I think I have the same finding in all 3 cities. And I say that not because to excuse it or whatever, it's a tough thing when you have a lot of grants to be able to go out to departments that exist outside of this building and, DPW, parks, police and fire. There's a lot of grants happening. A lot of the decisions are made outside of Louise's department. So, I think in one of the instances, we had a hard time really nailing down when the expenditure happened. And that's going to come from the program people, not necessarily the finance people. So, basically the finding is, hey, let's try to get ahead of this before year end, increase those communications so that we have a solid number at year end. So it was deemed to be a material weakness because we made material entries. So again, accounting standards dictate that if I propose a material entry, I'm now part of your internal control process. So that's a material weakness.
Yeah, no, we definitely have to clean that up, you're right.
Any questions about that? And then one last finding, again, relative to those capital assets. So this is one where, I talk about that government-wide financial statement, all the assets and liabilities of the city. They really need to be tracked, including infrastructure, this building, any equipment that's purchased. It's meant to be tracked and depreciated. So what does depreciation mean to a city? Nothing. Hate to tell you. But at the same time, it's a requirement for that particular financial statement. So that's why this finding is here. That's why the modified opinion is there. I'm not aware that, your rating agencies or anyone else is gonna look at that and say, oh my God, they don't know, where their assets are. That's not the case. It's the case of being able to track the historical costs and record depreciation on it. So you can hire a company that will go out and do that. They'll set you straight and they'll give you a report and you can just feed off of it going forward if you want this finding to go away. Short of that, it's not something that you're likely to be able to do in-house. So again, cost benefit in terms of, do you want this finding to go away? Or is it just, do we care what the depreciation is? So, my hands are tied in terms of reporting it, but,
Did you talk about page 17 yet?
page 17.
Yes.
Yes, we did talk about that. So that's the reconciliation of the grants. And again, pulling that information from outside departments, making sure that we balance the revenues and expenditures. If you spent money that you expect to be reimbursed for, you should be recording a revenue that corresponds to that. So those two should balance out. There were a couple entries, I think, related to that. So we found some expenditures, so we had to go ahead and book that revenue.
So on the assets,
Mhm.
what is the, is it 5,000, 10,000 of the asset that we start tracking depreciation?
Louise, do you know the
Do
number?
we have a number?
Yeah, we definitely have a number. I believe it's in the footnotes here. Actually, it's not in there. My guess, it's somewhere around 5 to 10,000. From a federal perspective, the federal government likes you to book and inventory everything over 25,000. So that would be generally a good number to use. Any other questions about the numbers or the audit process?
I'm trying to understand page 18 now.
Page 18.
Yeah,
So that was the second finding, right? Yeah, so that again is the tracking of fixed assets or capital assets.
what do you suggest?
I think, if you want it to go away, you hire a company.
We gotta hire a company?
Yeah, they will come in and do that inventory for you.
Don't we have a list of all our assets? We just don't have the depreciation on it?
Well, I mean, we have a list of things that were, as we purchased them.
Yeah, we have stickers, like I'm looking at a sticker on this fence right here. that
But
says-
we're talking more like
Fire trucks, police
infrastructure and
cars,
buildings
buildings.
and bridges and things like that.
I mean,
That's,
We did
in
that.
theory, it includes
I don't
roads,
think we
so,
required.
Gotcha, it's everything.
yes,
If we were to go bankrupt tomorrow, close the doors and lock it up, what would we bring in the court to settle out?
right. Which is questionable whether you're gonna sell your road or not, but,
How much are you gonna give me?
right.
It's got a bridge to sell you too.
Yes.
I'll give you one of these on the list real cheap.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you very
Louise, Thank
much.
you for all your help.
Thank you very much.
appreciate it.
I can remember in 2020, we where we were and where we are now. And,
We're doing great.
I want to thank the council for everything everyone has done to make that happen. It's been a.
He only started on the 800,000 fund balance. I wanted to see the one that was 8 million in the hole the other way, 2 years.
Or when there was no data
No
to
data.
do an audit
No data.
with, yeah.
So thank you, everyone. Louise, thank you. Okay. We are on to public participation. And if you'd like to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and you have a 5-minute duration to tell us what you're going to tell us.
John R. Thomas Wetruba today. Mayor, back, last year, I mentioned back on Forest Avenue, in back of Sleazax, where we had the mall.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We knocked the building down, which was a good thing. I mentioned about the weeds. The weeds are still there. Whose responsibility is it?
It is our responsibility to clean those weeds. We have it on the schedule to do that. It has not been done yet.
Okay, well, you know, if Ada wants to get involved in that, and you got the
No,
property looks like.
It's our responsibility and we need to get that done.
All right,
Thank you for
so
pointing it out again.
another thing is with lawns overall. Last year, when the lawn cutting season got over with, I'm sure we knocked down a few more buildings. You mentioned about going out for bid. I mentioned, I think it was last year, that if we put, say, blacktop or cement, wouldn't that be cheaper on the long run?
I don't know. I don't think so, but it
Well,
depends upon the size and et cetera, but.
Certain things cost more to begin with, and then we save money
Yes.
later on. And, you know, obviously, then if you go out for bid, and here, I don't know, if I cut the lawn 3 or 4 times already, now you're talking about out for bid, and it's costing us a lot of money
Right.
for this thing. But, you know, the people don't want these old dilapidated buildings.
Correct.
So, I mean, but then we gotta take care of the lawns, and nobody's gonna really buy a vacant lot and build a house from scratch anymore because of the costs and things that are involved. And you mentioned yourself about the housing problems that we have. Probably one of the better things that I thought that we had was down on East Main Street when we knocked the buildings down and they put that housing complex there, which was great. You know, and now you're talking about this school or so that we should vote on, which seems like a good thing. But it goes on to other things though too. I mean, we had not only where the mall was, but I mean, we haven't heard too much about the Chalmers site anymore. We had people that were interested in investing into that land. You know, we had an individual that wanted the building and wanted to fix up the building. We tore the building down. The grass there is real nice and like that, but it's vacant. I worked at Mohaska for 5 years. We went through 2 arson fires after I left. And then I think Joe Emanuel was mayor. We knocked down the rest of the buildings. It's been vacant there for 40 years. Now, I think Joe's involved with Ada. If Ada's not doing that good of a job, maybe we should try to replace some of it. There's no reason for having all this land vacant like this, you know, and you know, and which would help. So they got to have some people that have some ideas and has some kind of, you know, funding and that can say, gee, this is good land. I mean, there's another thing too. For years, we're cutting the grass, beautiful grass at the Mohaska site. That was 57 Lion Street there. So, I mean, it's you know, but all this extra, we got to take care of that, you know? So, I mean, I still think that if we looked at some kind of pavement, if you go over to the town of Amsterdam, I saw some nice housing complexes, and the housing, they're built on pavement. So that way the people, they don't have to worry about cutting the lawns or whatever. They have the people come over and plow, the town of Amsterdam plows out. It's you know, not that bad. I mean, I think on the long run, you know, we got to try to save some money here and there and see what exactly which is the best. Now, you also mentioned here about Paul Tonko. I could be wrong on this. I thought Elise Stefanik was our representative here.
No, Paul got the district back, what was it, 2 years ago, I believe.
Oh, he got it.
Yeah, and Elise was moved on with the 21st district, so.
All right, well then that's okay then, I guess, so, I wasn't really totally aware or something where the Republicans aren't doing too good, overall lately. But, there's other things too. I've been watching a lot of this stuff. My, the National Grid bill went up $51. Now, we knew it was gonna go up. And what cracks me up, Mayor, is they said if we went to LED lighting, we would save money. So the people go to LED lighting and then they say, wait a minute, because they're for a profit company. Oh, well, we'll get the money back by raising the rates. They were supposed to keep up with the grid constantly. So you don't do nothing with the grid for 50 years and then come back to the tax, to your customers and have them pay all this money. So I mean, and we're, like I said, we pay 50% more than any other state. We got one president, and yet we pay 50% more in New York State than in any other state. And that's, these utility bills can help drive people out. Later on, when you do the budgets and stuff, and I brought up about water and like this, I can't drink the water or something, but chances are you're probably gonna increase the water usage and things like that. I asked about meters. We still don't have the meters. We set that aside. So I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on, but sooner or later, this may not be a city. People are driving people out. You see all these food pantries and stuff. People are really hitting the pits around here. Okay. I guess that's my 5 minutes.
There you
Okay.
go. Yep.
Thank you. It was nice to see somebody else speak there like that.
It was.
It was
was.
good,
Although we do appreciate your commentary, sir.
All
Thank you.
right, take it easy now.
Okay, is that it? Anyone else like to speak? Okay, then we will get on to the agenda, correct? So we have did you have something in,
We have
old business, new business? I'm sorry, new
Old
business.
business. New business, we have resolutions. You ready for this?
Hold on, if I may.
Okay.
I think an issue came up regarding electric utility supply pricing.
Yes.
And we're seeking ultimately, correct me if I'm wrong, please. We're dealing with a volatile market right now. And the long and short of it is that we ultimately need to lock in a rate. But our broker needs to be able to move on the drop of a hat.
The suppliers are not holding any rates like they used to.
So under the circumstances, what is being recommended, or what I've recommended, is that the council give the mayor authority so that we can have our broker lock in a rate, and then once that rate is locked in, we would follow that up with a resolution ratifying the rate. But I think in past practices, the rate was able to be held for a period of time, and then the legislation could follow up or catch up with it, so to speak. The climate of the industry right now is such that we need to be able to move more on the spot. Am I stating all of that correctly?
Perfect.
Liz?
Yep.
Okay. So if the council is so inclined, I would ask that someone please bring a motion authorizing the mayor to provide authority to our broker to lock in a rate upon his recommendation.
Could that work against us, right? Like, let's say the rates go down, are we locked?
Yes, it could.
Okay,
There's
yeah,
no question about it, but that's what we have a broker for. Dan Russo's been our broker for many years, and he's the one who notifies us when he thinks he has a good deal. And we talk about it, and we agree, we bring it in front of the council when we think it's a good deal. And right now, it's happening so fast, Rich.
I know.
It goes from 11 to 12 in a day, and there's, we don't have time to have a council meeting.
It would probably be a short-term rate lock
Well,
anyway.
he did say he wasn't gonna lock in for a long period
I
of time.
think 6 months is the goal.
Yeah, 6
but-
months.
But we have to make a decision sometime in the next 3 weeks for the pricing to be in effect July 1st.
Right.
Gotcha.
And we budgeted an increase, but, that's what we're trying to stay within that budgeted increase.
I would make that motion.
Okay. Did you get that?
Yes.
That wording, no.
I'll go back.
She's in the video.
Excuse me,
Any
you just
discussion?
brought this on. What are we talking about?
Sorry?
What are you talking about?
I don't have I don't know the rate.
Kilowatt, and what we pay per kilowatt.
Okay,
For electricity?
Yeah.
I thought you were asking me a
So,
specific number, what
what are
number?
we paying right now?
Yes.
What are we paying?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
You know
She
what
might
our
know
rate is?
consent.
Like 10 cents, I think, around 10 cents right now.
So the broker has come to us saying that he thinks it's a desirable rate
Right now, it's in 12. It's in the 12s, I think was his last number.
But he's gone up to 18 and
That was my next question.
Yeah. it's,
Right, so he's thinking that he wants to play the way, that he's gonna tell us. He watches them a lot closer than anybody here
For
does.
sure, yeah.
So tell us how the resolution should read.
Pardon?
Tell me how the resolution should read.
Giving the mayor authority for our broker to lock in a rate with respect to electric utility supply pricing.
At what number?
We can't give
We
him,
don't have a number, that's the whole point.
do you wanna say not more than? Because then we're gonna come back to you when it's more than and ask you, that's the problem,
You
Jim.
can
It's
cap it
that
with like
fast.
a 30% increase, all right?
Well,
You could say like not to exceed
we can say
25%.
that, we can
more than-
certainly say that, but that's the purpose of the purpose of this resolution is to give me the authority to say yes to, and if you guys wanna put a top on it,
No.
you can.
I can't imagine you wanting to lock it in at a higher rate than we would. I mean,
Yeah.
that would work against your own budget.
You you know me,
Yeah.
but I'm no problem with you guys,
What do you think, Aaron?
I think if we do a cap, like a range between,
you can do it, yeah, I'm,
I mean, if
Louise,
we don't lock in at all, we're just very vulnerable
we're on the
to
market,
it.
we're at the market.
Right.
Yeah, so,
But our consultant, he's been doing this for like 25 years, and he
Right.
said he's never seen volatility like
Like it is now.
we're seeing right now in this.
the last couple of times he's come to me, I've researched this thing like crazy, I've gone to other areas of the state, I gave Louise information, I gave him information, how come? He's always got an answer, they're buying their power from this, they're doing that over there. So it's really, we're at his mercy and his expertise, and we've been that way for a while. And but like what Chet said, we didn't save any money. We saved over $200,000 on those new lights,
Well,
And
Okay,
we're at the
that'll-
mercy of like the state of the world right now.
it's crazy.
Which becomes
It's
more and more
crazy.
volatile
It's
every day.
geopolitical more so
If
than
we're
just
being-
Exactly right.
Honest.
It's crazy, and God knows what's gonna happen tomorrow, so. If
I-
you wanna give me a cap, you can, but you know me, I'm not gonna,
well,
so if we lock in, can we back out of it? Say we lock in at 18,
well, 6 months later, you can.
Oh.
We lock in for a period of time, and that period of time, hopefully he comes back with a better rate within that period of time.
and then we could change it.
Well, we can't, I don't think we can change it for 6 months.
Right.
But we can lock in at a
They're locked
rate.
in for 6 months. They're
And
locked
So
in.
what
then
is
we
the
know
rate,
what we're
is the
paying.
rate like the average of the week, the average of the month, right? I can't imagine that we would wake up one morning and let's say it's,
Say,
in the world of stocks, it's called buying the dip, right? Like, oh, it's 7%, let's
Yeah.
lock in, like,
Yeah,
well,
And he's working
What
with
is-
a lot of
what
different
is-
suppliers, so they all,
sure.
they're all, they're competing with each other too.
yeah,
okay, so can I just ask, you already put the budget in for this,
I
right?
did.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with that.
You're gonna what?
I'll lock in with that. Would you put the budget in for that? You already put budget in, right?
We're already over that.
Okay.
You had to say that?
We are, no, you budgeted 11, didn't you budget 11.1 or something? Or am I wrong?
We allowed for a substantial increase with electricity.
Right, but
Right.
am I wrong in saying
It was
that?
based, I can't remember exactly, but yes, it was based on I think ended up being a 15% increase. is what
Okay, and
we
so,
Figured out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were there, Jimmy, and it.
No, that's okay,
We gave a
because
margin.
that's all right.
If you wanna lock in at what we got, I don't know how we figured that out kilowatt, do you?
What I'm saying is just, we have to,
Dan does all this analysis that he provides me with.
Right,
so.
and you give me that analysis.
Yes.
And you give me a budget
we have to
number,
budget more.
and we
That's
ask, right?
We need to budget more, that's all.
But we still gotta lock into something.
You gotta lock
Yeah,
in.
what's the time frame? That goes back to my question, like, can we wake up on a Monday morning and it's
Call
10,
tomorrow.
right? Like, So
We need
it's,
the budget.
it's time of the
Do we need to
essence to
budget
the
any
point.
more money?
Yeah, she's, because we don't have any,
We
power.
need to
we
budget
have to
any
get
more
you
money.
convened
I don't think so,
to vote on something.
but we'll
Right now.
probably
So let's
lock
say
in.
it's 12% today.
Yep.
We reconvene and we come back in a week and a half and it's 14%.
If we didn't lock in at 12,
And we didn't, we just been kind of beating around the bush and now it's 14. Are we
Right.
kind of just watching it go like this?
Right.
Is it on a day-to-day basis?
it is.
That's
And
what it's
Danny
doing.
will
Can we,
advise us.
can we hope for the better and maybe see if we can catch a 10?
Yeah, well, see, like last week,
If we-
he approached us about
You know?
locking in, but the mayor didn't have the authority
To lock it in.
to lock it on that day. We had to bring it to you as a
Right.
resolution,
And then
How
and then
much
we
time
lost that price.
Ready to do it to you, it went up, that's what I'm saying. And he's saying, don't lock in at this, give me some time. But when I'm ready, you gotta lock in fast. And we're saying, well,
Yeah.
we've gotta press
We need
this.
the
we gotta-
authority.
Can-
Can do it
can
the
we-
opposite way and write it instead of with a cap? If it ever drops below this, lock in.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking too. Can we give you the rubber stamp to like
Well, I think
press the
somebody
button
said
at
a
10?
range. Said a range.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do whatever you want, but it's gonna be it's gonna be our broker who
Okay.
tells us.
I feel like this, I think that we should give him the authority to lock into a rate. Because he's in charge of his budget also, and he knows how it's gonna affect
That's
his
what I
end.
say.
So
That's,
I'm fine with it.
I say it too.
Yeah.
I say
I'm fine
go
with
ahead.
it.
Okay.
So is there
I mean,
any,
take a
if
poll.
I may then, is there any more discussion
Discussion
to
before
the
we take a vote.
motion as presented?
I drive my car all the way down to E. I like to risk it for the biscuit, you know what I'm saying? So like if we could catch something on the dip, I wanna buy then. But if not, I'm okay with just riding this where it needs to be just to get it done, just like
Can
you
you
do.
give me the authority to do this with my wife? Cause I. I'd love that. Good luck.
Yeah.
Do we need to,
No, you just did.
okay.
All right,
We have
could you please call the roll?
Yes.
then?
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much, Council. So now we are on to the resolutions, right?
Okay.
Resolution number 2526-186, resolution adopting minutes from last common council meeting by Alderwoman Collins. Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Resolution number 2526-187, resolution authorizing interfund loan for multiple projects by Alderman Marticello.
So moved. Could just read the now therefore clause for them.
Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that the city of Amsterdam authorizes the following entry to establish temporary interfund loans. Interfund loan number 1, the general fund is temporarily lending $50,000 to the capital fund for the home program. Interfund loan number 2, the general fund is temporarily lending an additional $4,310.74 to the capital fund for the Barkley Playground project.
Okay. Thank you. So moved. Any questions? And we'll be reimbursed and we'll replace this money. Okay? Call the roll, please.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Resolution number 2526-188, resolution setting a public hearing for the adoption of the City of Amsterdam Comprehensive Plan by Alderwoman Collins.
Okay, so you can go now therefore.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Amsterdam shall hold a public hearing on May 19th, 2026 at 5:55 PM at the Council Chambers, City Hall, 61 Church Street, Amsterdam, New York, 12010, for the purpose of hearing all persons interested in the adoption of the updated comprehensive plan. And be it further resolved that the city clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish notice of said public hearing in the official newspaper of the City of Amsterdam Recorder at least 10 days prior to the date of the hearing.
So moved. Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars. Aye. Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Resolution number 2526-189, resolution approving audit by Alderwoman Collins.
So moved. Any questions? Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Ordinance D of 2026 to be known as ordinance number 4 of 2026 if adopted, introduction. An ordinance modifying section 73-4A9 of the Amsterdam City Code so as to prohibit dogs in certain areas of public parks and recreational areas by Alderman Holliday.
Stacy, just read part one, where you go.
Part 1, legislative intent, section 73-4A of the Amsterdam City Code codifies prohibited acts regarding dogs within the city of Amsterdam with section 73-4A9 pertaining to the restrictions of dogs in parks and designated recreational areas. The purpose of the instant legislation is to prohibit an owner or person in custody or control of a dog shall not cause a dog to be on the playing surface of any baseball, soccer, softball field, basketball, tennis, pickleball court, ice rink, golf fairway, putting green, or splash pad located with any recreational or park areas of the city, regardless if said dog is leashed or unleashed.
Very good.
Great. Questions or comments, anybody? Call the roll, please.
Just Matt, there's a public hearing on this.
This is an introduction.
Oh, okay,
So there'll be a public hearing on this
Thank
on
you.
May 19th at 5:40 PM.
okay. Thank you.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
No,
No, there's no,
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry.
yeah,
It's just an introduction.
All right.
Another
Thank you.
introduction.
Local Law A of 2025 to be known as Local Law 1 of 2026 if adopted, introduction. A local law extending a temporary moratorium on the submission and processing of building permits, certificates of occupancy, certificates of use and land use approvals for industrial, solar, and battery energy storage systems in the city of Amsterdam by Alderman Holliday.
probably just read part one again and then,
Part 1, legislative intent. The city of Amsterdam, by way of local law 2025-1, ratified on December 2nd, 2025, establishes a 6-month moratorium on the submission and processing of building permits, certificates of occupancy, certificates of use and land use approvals for industrial, solar, and battery energy storage systems in the city of Amsterdam. The legislative intention of the instant local law is to extend said moratorium through the date of January 5th, 2027. This moratorium will pertain to 1, any application pertaining to a ground-mounted solar panel defined as a solar panel that is directly installed in the ground and is not attached or fixed to an existing structure. Pole-mounted, shed-mounted, or freestanding canopy-mounted solar panels shall be considered ground-mounted solar panels, and any application pertaining to a battery energy storage system defined as one or more devices assembled together capable of storing energy in order to supply electrical energy at a future time.
thank you.
So this
Thank you.
public hearing will take place on May 19th at 5:45 PM.
That's it, that's all I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Just-
Alderwoman Collins. Aye. Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A random question.
Uh-huh.
Your panel is